The Thunderbolts is not your everyday standard superhero. They are your personable, relatable, transparent superheroes of 2025. And I think they are exactly what we needed in our generation. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to another video. So I don't know why I'm so excited. I'm just so excited to just talk about the Thunderbolts because like it was just such a good movie and it was just such an emotional movie and it was such a movie that like wow. And honestly, my favorite line was, Yelena, it's your dad. So we're gonna break down the theme of Thunderbolts in 4 sections. We're gonna talk about the relatability of the characters, the dealing with past traumas, identity crisis, and also the loneliness epidemic. But yeah, let's get into it. Don't forget to subscribe because there will be more deep dives, conversations like this because I just enjoy it here.
HQ.
Alexi, it's me. Open up.
The thing I love about the Thunderbolts is that they're not your flashy superheroes. They're not, oh my gosh, they're so uninspiring, which makes them more interesting and makes them more relatable. Because if you compare them to other superheroes like Iron Man, like Spider-Man, and like Thor, they're like so, whoa, so cool. They capture the heart of people. However, these lot are just so average. There's something about having rejects as your characters that makes it feel more relatable, because us watching superheroes online be like, oh, that's so far-fetched, that's so out of reach, right? But bringing back down, humanizing these superheroes, which makes them even debatable whether or not they are really superheroes or like anti, all that stuff, but humanizing superheroes, we're sitting there watching it and like, whoa, people battled with addiction, people battled with depression, people battled with loneliness, people battled with family trauma, people battled with grief. They are extremely relatable. They're super cool, they're super powerful, but they're just like an everyday person. They go through the things that everyday people have gone through. Century went through the same things that a lot of us gone through. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what makes the movie really, really special to me, because I didn't watch it feeling and leaving the cinema, oh my God, I want to be like Red Guardian. No, I don't actually. But I watched it feeling, wow, I felt so seen. People have a messy past. People have a messy background and messy upbringing. So watching that on a scene, but also being superheroes, is this confusing but complex combination. It's like, no, you're supposed to just have it all together. You are supposed to have it all together as a superhero. You're supposed to be the strong one. You're supposed to be with a clear mind. You're not supposed to have any issues. You just get it together. But the movie showed actually you don't have to have it all together, and you don't have to have a perfect journey. You don't have to have a perfect line. We are all in this together. If you relate it to life, it's like your celebrities, the people that you look up to in life, the people that are like super cool, they also have issues in life. They also have mental battles. They also have conditions that they're going through. They also need healing and need help in life. You really need to humanize people, even humanize the people that you look up to in life. Humanize them. You can't be looking up to them thinking, oh, they have it all together, it's literally perfect, they don't have any struggles, but actually they do. And I think that is why, again, the movie just works. The movie just works. And I think that's why people are annoyed, because it's like, what is this? This is not superheroes. These are, what are you? A reject. I think that is why people have it's either you love it or you hate it. You either get it or you don't get it. That's fine, but it's still a powerful movie. Something about The Void really, really got me, because there is something in us all that has a little bit of void. And especially if someone like you've gone through a lot in life, or if you've seen a lot of things in life, you experienced a lot of things in life. I love the fact that it was called The Void, because that void is an emptiness. You could be walking around the world, but you could just be completely empty. You will look at something, you can interact with people in life, and you can see that there's just a sense of emptiness in them. You can feel a sense of, oh wow, you don't believe in anything. You're angry all the time, or you're hurt all the time, and you're battling with so much, you're carrying so much in life, and that is void. Like, there is nothing. Like, you're walking, but there's nothing in you, there's nothing in your mind. And I think as well, even if you're walking life and you still have a sense and you're still getting on with life, there's still a part of you that is dark. There's still a dark part of your past. There's still a dark part of your upbringing. There's still a dark part, that trauma that sometimes you can be healed, but sometimes it can trigger you. It's so sad that it was called Shame Rooms, but I think there was such a great purpose why it was called Shame Rooms. We interpret those things that we've seen or things that we've experienced or things that we have gone through in our childhood or whenever it was in life, and we label it as shame. But it's so interesting how dark moments in life we always see and call it shame. We're labeling ourselves as shameful people. We're labeling our rooms and our experiences as shame, when it's like, it doesn't have to be shame. It doesn't have to end up in shame. There can be beauty at the end. There could be redemption at the end. There could be hope at the end. When Yelena stepped in the void, it just showed how in order to move on in life, you actually have to confront and deal with past traumas. You can't continue with life not dealing with the past traumas that you've gone through in life. You just can't. If anything, is a call for us as people and for you to deal with your past traumas, to say, hey, you know what? I'm bleeding. I'm hurt. Whenever I think of this moment in my life, I think of shame. I think of, all the things that I could have done. Why did this happen to me? There's a moment for us to look at when Yelena walked into the void of, there are things in my life that I probably have pushed to the side or have not dealt with. Let me step into it. Let me confront it. Let me face it. Let me unpack it. Let me go to therapy. Let me pray, let me heal, let me do what I need to do in order to move on. She had to confront her darkest past and her battles and her trauma and her depression and her addiction in order to now reach out to support Century. She had to face them. And I think a lot of us in life are not facing our traumas. A lot of us are not facing our issues. We're just going around life, going around what we're doing, hurting other people because we're still hurt. And it's actually, for a second, I need to stop and I need to heal. I need to face my traumas. I'm triggered and I need help.
Oh no.
Who are you?
I'm Bob.
A lot of us don't know who we are. I think that's the scary thing. A lot of us don't know what we are doing, don't know why we are doing it. They don't know how to do it. A lot of us are trying to find labels and categories and sections and names and things to label us and to give us meaning and to give us an identity. Century wanted to be seen. He wanted meaning. He wanted someone to look at him and give him purpose and to give him something. I think that's why Valentina chose him, because he was broken. He needed healing. He needed a meaning. And that's why obviously I think they did experiments and all that stuff on him, because he was the perfect candidate. He had nothing going on for himself. And I think Century wanted that. He wanted meaning. He wanted an identity. He wanted purpose. He wanted someone to look at him and say, you are good enough, that you are worth it. But then his identity fell into the wrong hands. So this is why I feel like we need to be so careful in life of giving people the opportunity to speak into our identity. I think that's why I'm so scared about the world labeling us, because when you put your identity into people and for other people to determine and to decide who you are, it gets exploited. That's what we saw with Valentina. She saw something great and powerful and said, I'm going to take that and control him and tell him exactly who he is and what he can do, what he cannot do, and control him. And I think that's what a lot of us are doing in life. We are giving social media the opportunity to define us. We're giving all these other people the opportunity to define us. But ultimately, I think the only way that you can actually be defined as a person is by looking to the one who created you. I'm going to leave it at that. The moment where I cried as well was when the void was speaking to Bob, Century, and was saying, you thought you could amount to something and you will always be alone. I don't want to cry now, but I'm just not going to cry. That identity part and knowing who you are is so important. These horrible thoughts start to consume your mind and say, you're always going to be alone. No one cares about you. You're just a lonely kid. Or look at how you look. Or look at who you are. You're never going to amount to anything because of X, Y, Z. I've gone through that, right? Do you know how many people who go through that on a daily basis? It is very scary. And that is what broke my heart. Because those things, those thoughts in your mind, it's so hard to get rid of because it's just there. You're sitting, watching a movie and it just pops in, oh, no one cares about you. Scary. Oh, I'm getting emotional again. God help me. It reminds me of this line that I learned in church about hurt people, and also bleeding people hurt people, or bleeding people causes other people to bleed. When people go through something and when people cause an offense to another person, it's because that person is broken. It's also because that person is not perfect. And that person also has traumas and also has a broken experience or a broken viewpoint of life, and that causes affliction onto other people. When I saw the void spreading across the state, it was a picture of that void and that brokenness that he had. It's so easily spreadable. You can easily spread that brokenness across people around you, into your community, into the people that love you. You can cause other people to hurt because of the void that you carry and you have not dealt with. it will just spread. And I think that's why I love this movie. The things that happen in your childhood, the things that happen when you're young, the things that you've experienced, the things that you've seen, whatever that is, those things don't define you. And those thoughts that say you will never amount to anything, or you will never become anything, or all those horrible thoughts that consume our minds that I would say are very demonic. If you love films, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those spiritual things that we watch on films and TV, very demonic. Those things don't consume us and shouldn't define us as people. Those are just snippets of our journey to mold us and to shape us into who we are, but that doesn't overcome and define us now.
And there are worse guys, and nothing else.
The loneliness epidemic with social media, the digital age, people just staying at home, and also people wanting a third space as well. The movie, obviously, as I said before, the movie immediately touches the tone of mental health. The scene that really took me out was when Yelena was far away from Bob, and Bob was literally getting consumed by the void. But then Yelena went through all the obstacles, she dodged everything with her amazing skills, because we love her, and got to Sentry. And then she was like, I'm here, you're not alone. And then everyone else started to come, and everyone else started to, like, all the other lot started to come and support Sentry. I don't even know. This is why I don't understand when people watch films and don't see the connection to life. Yelena is not just saying, I'm here, yeah. No, listen, the way it connected to the loneliness epidemic, that you cannot do life alone. You need people around you. Community doesn't mean 1,000 people. Community could be 3 individuals around you that no matter what, they will unpack life with you. No matter where you are in life, they will take a bullet for you. Do you know what I mean? Community is not quantity. Community is quality. And I think sometimes we miss that, oh, I need to have 100 people around me, or I need to have like a big people around me for my birthday, or I need to have this, or I need to have that. Community of people could be 3 people. And if those 3 people, you have depth with them and a deep connection with them, and that they will do anything for you and you will do anything for them, that they are selfless, that will sacrifice for you, that will give them time for you, that will be inconvenient for you, I think you've just hit the jackpot on community. I think you've hit the jackpot of community, 100%. People are needed. We weren't created. We weren't put on this earth just to walk this life alone. If you are going through something in life and you are alone, it is much harder to deal with it by yourself. You need people. And Sentry, the reason why Sentry is my favorite, because this guy was suffering alone. He was suffering in his thoughts, and he was battling with identity, and he was battling with loneliness, and he was battling with grief, and he was battling with bipolar and mental health and depression and all these things. And people were exploiting him, and people were telling him what he can and cannot do. But then that moment when he had people around him to support him and lift him up and encourage him and say, you're not alone. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna cry again. This is why I love Thunderbolts. I absolutely love, and I think as well, coming from a place that I've hailed from, that place where I felt like I didn't have people around me, or I didn't have a community around me, and I'm sure that people have felt that like that at one point in their life, and that's okay. And seeing that, and it just was triggering. Not triggering because I'm still feeling the type of way now, but triggering in terms of, we know what it feels like to be alone. Like, we know how it feels sometimes, or maybe sometimes you know how it feels to be alone, or you felt being alone, and probably that's why you connect with it so much, because you know how it feels to be lonely. You know how it feels to have to struggle with your mental thoughts and your back and forth in your mind 24/7. You know how it feels to go through that. And that's why you can't tell me that it's not emotional. That's why you can't tell me that they didn't deliberately try and combat the loneliness epidemic and say, you need a community, you need people around you. Guys, those are my thoughts on this movie. I did not do any technical stuff about how it fits to the MCU and stuff. Am I excited for Doomsday? I am excited for Doomsday because of X-Men. All right, but I'm really excited for unpacking Sentry, and I'm excited for what they're gonna do with Sentry moving forward, because I think he's got such great character development. His character development was so good. But yeah, I'm so excited to see what you think about the movie and your thoughts of the movie. Comment down below what you think as well, because I really enjoyed it. I think it's a beautiful movie for 2025, and think if people that are young, you know, I'm 25, people that are young watching it can get something out of it, 100%. But don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, follow me on all my other social media platforms at @michaellaevelyn. But yeah, until next time.